So I'm going to show you how to install a NPAS in your WeTech SCAR-L. That is the part number for it. So you can look that up on anywhere. That's the RawTech part number for your Wii SCAR-L. So I'll just get started here. You just pop out the pin. It's pretty simple. Just pull that guy out and then your lower receiver drops right down, and then push this top button here and your stock comes out, and then your buffer spring will come right out the back. And then you will slide your bolt back and make sure your charging handle lines up with the hole right there. See that little hole? And then just pull it out, and then your bolt will slide right out the back just like the buffer spring. So here is your SCAR-L bolt. So first thing, you will need a number 3 Allen key, and there's 2 Allen screws on the top of your bolt, so you'll want to take those off. Alright, so then we'll just set the top. Just set that aside. So now you got your lower bolt. So you want to take this little guy in here. You want to take this part off. And you'll also want to take off this side. They're number 1 screws, so just get a number 1 Phillips and then take those little screws out. Now they're very, very tiny screws, so be sure to not lose them. Then just get your little screwdriver and then just kind of wiggle it out a little bit. Use gravity to your advantage and just kind of wiggle those things out. It should just pop right out. Come on now. Just pops out, and we'll just set that one aside, and then we'll take out the one on the top. Remember this guy inside of here. We'll take that out. Same size screws, number 1 Phillips. They're very, very small, so just be careful not to lose them. Take those guys out. No, they don't want to come out. Aside. Pop that out. Looks like that. So set that aside. And then there is a pin on the back here. You can kind of see it right here, this guy. So then you will just get like a little, I kind of made this little screwdriver, but I shaved it down so you can push pins out with it, just like a pin pusher. So you just put it on there. Actually, sorry, not this side, the side that is in. Because this back pin only goes in one way. So you'll want to push it out from the opposite direction, if that makes sense. So we'll push it out from this side out. Let's give it a little push where it sticks out a little bit more, where you can grab it with some needle nose. And then you'll just pull it out. And this pin is holding the spring on your nozzle. So then you will just slide out your nozzle and the spring. So right there, you see that spring. That's what that pin goes into. So now, to get your nozzle part, it's just another one pin. It's a little metal pin right there. You guys can see that. All you gotta do is just push that out, with the same tool. Push the pin and grab it with your needle nose, slide it out, and then you just pull the two sections apart very gently. Just pop them apart, just like that. Now you got your two sections. And in the front is where your NPAS goes, which I already had it installed. But so in your scar, you'll have this, your little, I don't know what the heck it's called, little valve, I guess. So that will be in there. So you just take that out and you grab your Rotec one, and you got that spring in the front, and it will sit in there like this. So you drop that spring in there, make sure it's seated all the way to the front in there, it's all the way down in there, and you'll drop your NPAS in just like this into the front, and make sure that is seated in the spring. Okay, so then we will put the two halves back together, and they do go together a certain way. So just make sure you have the two holes, little pinholes lined up, and then there's a shit. Now half of this fell apart. There is a little groove at the top. It's got a slit in it, and then there's this part here. So those will slide together, and you just put that together, and then you will take your spring. My spring's a little messed up, but it still works just fine. So you will take it, I kind of hold it up like this, where you can see light through the pinhole, and you'll slide in your spring from the back, because those pins slide into those rings. Those rings here, they slide into those, and it's very important you get your pin through those. So we'll just slide it in there, and I look for it through that pinhole and watch the ring go by. And once I see it go by, then I'll just grab that pin and put it through, and then I'll make sure that I have it seated properly and it's nice and springy, which is exactly what you want. And you want that sticking out the back. If it's like that, you're good to go. So then you'll grab your bolt again, and you'll slide it, make sure that this end is down, obviously, because you want to be able to see that when you open up your charging handle. So, and you'll want this to be your ring to be vertical, up and down. So you'll slide it back in here, and you'll want to line up this ring with the pin that you pushed out. That first pin, that goes through this. So you'll, the same thing I did with the other end, where I line it up and I will push the pin through. It's exactly what I'm doing here. So I'll put it in here, and I'll watch for the ring to slide past the spot. Got to get in there just right. Remember, this pin only goes in one way. So if you're trying to put it in and it's not sliding in, don't force it. Try the other side, because you don't want to break something. We'll just slide it in there. We'll push it the rest of the way home. And obviously make sure that it is as flush as you can be so it doesn't rub on anything. And then to make sure that it's in there, just grab a hold. Ha! I didn't do it right. Push it back out. Okay. Try that again. Yeah, there we go. Now I think I'm pretty sure I got it in there. So yeah, once you get that spring lineup pin in there, then you'll just grab a hold of your nozzle, make sure it's seated in there, and it should just spring back and forth, which is exactly what you want. So then you will just, you'll put these guys, remember these, back, you'll put those back on. We'll just sit back down in there, and you'll put those really tiny screws back in. And put the one on the other side back in. Those little plastic things, that's what holds, it helps hold your nozzle in place so it doesn't slide all the way out. It stops it from moving forward too much. So then you will just put this back on. Put your number 3 Allen screws back in. There, now you have your NPAS installed. So you should be able to see it in there. So you'll just take, it comes with this little tool here. Just slide it through the front, make sure it's up in there. And then you'll have to hold pressure on it so it doesn't spin. And then you'll just adjust your FPS. It's thankfully pretty simple to install. So there you go, guys.